ja siis mees ütles, et sa oled puutud nende uued Sesteri kooli juhatajatega ja õpetajatega kokku, et küsi, mis sest vanast koolimajast on saanud või mis sest saab. Seal ei olnud silti väljas ja seisis tühi kogu aeg. Ja ta ütles, et see on enampakkumisel müüa ja see aeg lõpeb, just olid viimased päevad või viimane nädal. No ja siis läkski see lahti kõik. Mehed käisid siin õues vaatamas, mees helistas Sepale ja Peekerile. Läksid taha õue vaatama, seal on ju suur plats. Keegi ei teadnud, et seal nii suur plats oli. Ja siis hakkasid vaatama ja uurima ja kutsuti jälle juhatus kokku ja kes need seal juhatuses ja need asjamehed kõik olid. Vaatasid, et ma ei seganud ennast sinna sisse. Ma ei käinud ühelgi koosolekul ega midagi, aga mees oli ihu ja hingega seal juures. Ja siis oligi, et rahad olid Mertoni platsi all kinni, et mis teha, pole raha. Siis otsustati, et miks meid inimeste käest laenu võtta nii kauaks, kui Mertoni plats müüdud on. Seda ei tehtigi. Ja inimesed annetasid, laenasid hea meelega. Raha tuli lubadusi rohkem, kui vaja oli. Ja tehti pakkumine võeti vastu ja sellega oligi. Koolimaja oli Eesti majaks ostetud. No siis oli muidugi nagu siin need raamatutes kirjutab, et kõigepealt tuli remont puhastada ja remonti teha. Ja seda juhtus kõik vabatahtliku tööjõuga. Kõik olid hea meelega aitamas ja tegemas, kõigil oli hea meel, et nüüd on Eesti maja. Ja siis oli juba niimoodi, et eestlastel oli niisugune nagu tung, et kokku saada, koos käia ja kokku saada ja siis juba kuulda, mismoodi igaüks, kuidas kellegi läheb ja kus tööd saab ja kuidas kellegi tööasi on. Et see oli kõik niisugune nagu kokkukuuluvuse tahtmine. Ja koos käidi, esialgu käidi ju Soome majas. Aga siis on jälle, et seda ikkagi hoitakse korras, uus katus tehti. Nii et Eesti maja sõbrad hoolitsevad selle eest, et seda maja korras hoida. Paljud inimesed on üles kasvanud, sündinud ja üles kasvanud Eesti majaga. Ta on ju praegugi ikkagi veel Eesti süda.
Okei, ma näen, sa tahab, et ma mainin teda. Okei, are we starting?
We are ready.
Okay. So my name is Lembi Park. This is Kristo Põlluaas. And one cameraman over here is Andrus Korst. And we're all involved in this Estonian house redevelopment proposal. I call it what if. What if something like this could be done? Our assignment was given to us by the Tulke Koju, Tulke Külla team, who were looking for architects who might have an idea about how to save the Estonian house by using it for the future.
Okay, and before mentioning our own project, let's talk a little about history, where all the ideas come from. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to try and keep it short. One of the inspirations is an original sepia tone photograph from around 1905 of the Chester Hill School. It's sort of alone on the Chester Hill before there were many houses built around there. Chester Hill was also a place where you had one of the finest views towards the lake and towards the city across the Don Valley. So this beautiful building that has since been covered up in the front by the addition built in the 70s, we want to bring it out, bring it back to its full glory. Anyways, it's a heritage building, so it has to be done no matter what, no matter who buys the site, no matter who develops it. And that was our first idea, and from there other ideas come.
So in glory of that historical building, our concept is more like more, not less?
Yes, more, not less, comes from the idea that in order to finance this project, in order to create the kinds of activities and the synergies, and there have to be a lot of people using it. The revenue streams that have to be produced means we have to maximize the use of the building. So there's a 6-story height limit allowed for the entire site there. And the idea is to use this to its maximum potential. We're also stepping back the building at the top 2 floors so that it will seem smaller at the back. But this is the idea. More people there, more tenants, more businesses. There could be a conference center, there could be schools, there could be special schools, Montessori schools, etc. as tenants. That's the vision for the functionality of it, plus all of the existing functions that it has been providing as an Estonian house for the Estonian community in Toronto.
We have there some different functions, but let's start with pavilions. Where does the idea come from, and why are the pavilions so important of the whole proposal?
Okay, so the idea was to find a strategy for organizing and unifying the new things that will be built on the site, including integrating with what's existing there in old. So the first idea is that in front of the building we're going to create a very symmetrical glass box which has other materials as well, like brick. And this creates the first double height pavilion, the materiality of which is connected to the existing brick building. Then at the back of the building, we have at the very top a pavilion which is meant as a beacon, a lantern, which we might be talking about later, which is also a similar 2 double height story glass box. So it's really about having pieces that are first one sees it once, later again echo each other like bookends on a bookshelf.
Okay, so we have lots of articulated places, but what about whole construction? Is it timber?
Now this is a key element. These days we're talking about timber technology as the ultimate technology. It is sustainable. It regrows. It can be produced very quickly. The office building part, office and conference center part, the new part to the back, and the constructions of the pavilion of the front will be made of glulam timber beams and columns. And we also like to use CLT, that's cross-laminated timber panels for floors that also have concrete on top with hopefully with hot water heating, radiant heating. And this kind of construction has become very popular lately. Canada's own Michael Green from Vancouver has become world famous for pioneering and designing wood-constructed office buildings, some quite tall, and he makes a very interesting comment about it in his TED Talk speech, which is that he asks, when was the last time you saw somebody in a building come up to a column and hug it? So he speaks about the warmth, the naturalness of wood. And he has seen this literally in one of his buildings. Somebody came up to a large column and hugged it. So this is the kind of environment we're trying to create, the interior environment we want to create that will be very close to nature. And essentially, it's a kind of very Estonian thing to do.
So you are already talking about the interior rooms that we have. One of the biggest room we have there, a double height concert hall. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. So, because the only way this project could possibly finance itself is to have a maximum amount of space that is then leased, rented, and there will be permanent users as well. The existing suicide has to be demolished. And instead, the suicide will now be on top of the building, where we have 6 floors, which have ceiling heights of about 3 meters and 3.2 meters. That's 10 feet 8 inches. At the very top, for part of the building, there will be the suicide, the large hall, which will be a conference center, banquet hall, dance hall, all of the traditional functions of such a hall, which will be double height. So that will be at least 7 meters. To the ceiling. Part of the idea that this glazed box would be at the back side of the building facing west, which is the evening sun, is also that that's where the Don Valley Parkway is, and a view to Chester Hill from the city itself. And this becomes even more of a landmark building as a result. So we have a landmark building part in front, which is the existing Chester school, and then the new part is meant to be equal in appeal and a kind of strength.
For more, we have another features like parking for up to 100 cars and also the private garden. What about them? Can you tell us about it?
Yes, this is probably a good point to end on, because one of the big pluses of the Estonian house on Broadview has always been its parking. I remember as a child going there to Estonian supplementary school. Sometimes on Mondays, sometimes on Fridays. We always drove there with my mother. She was also a school teacher there. And there was always parking space. There was parking space for families bringing their children to daycare on Saturday mornings. And so presently we're trying to, kaks kärbes ühe hoobiga, 2 flies with 1 swat, is that the expression? By putting the parking below the building, 2 underground parking levels, which will be for approximately 100 cars, up to 100 cars. We're freeing up the entire back side of the lot, which is to the west, which is the setting sun, to become green space, essentially an oasis. It will have a reflecting pool, at least that's what we're proposing right now, but mostly it will be a large open space that can be then utilized for various kinds of outdoor functions that have never been there on that site. One of the reasons many people have their weddings and other events at the Latvian house up there on, I can't remember the name of the street, but there was a huge green area outside. So now we are trying to provide also a green oasis, a private space that everybody can't get into it, but the people who are using it on this particular site, which is just another fantastic bonus.
Nice team to end up with. So let's hope for the best, and let's looking forward to answer for the Canada team.
Yep.
Team Canada.
Team Canada.